Killing machine.
Lying here. This is how everything ends. No more for these kings of men. This is how.
So thank you for joining again another Crazy Killing Machine video. We're going to carry on with our third character creation this evening. We have Stefano Berrian, another one of the London urchins, not from London, from somewhere far more exotic. I'm sure he'll explain in a second. But yeah, Stefano, if you wouldn't mind giving everybody just a bit of background to you and Keyforge and the urchins and anything else you want to tell the people.
Yeah. So thank you, Carl. My name is Stefano, and I'm originally from Italy. I moved to London a bit more than a couple of years ago. Actually, funny thing, I learned about Keyforge while in Italy for a holiday through a friend of mine, and then came back to London, find other guys in the area that were playing the game, and since then I've been active in London and UK and all around Europe, actually.
Yeah, it's cool. I think that's one of the things
yeah.
we sort of got to know each other really closely because you sort of go around Europe almost as much as we do when it goes to all the other Vault Tours and the International Grand Championships. So yeah, I think that's where the beauty of our early relationship started, I think, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, the beauty, I wouldn't
And
say
now
that.
it's sort of gone. Woo! So now we've brought you onto a Keyforge RPD so we could take the piss out of you. So yeah,
especially for people that know me, especially I don't like to be on stream.
No, this is it. So he's going to die.
This is all
die
stream,
game
mate.
1, die game 2, die game 3. So yeah, it's same as always. I'm going to take a back seat. This is very much Steve's. I'm going to say it again. It's Steve's plane to fly. He's got to deal with Ambermancy this time, so that's going to be good fun. So fundamentally, Ambermancy, if I'm not wrong, is Keyforge relative magic users.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, this is going to be fun. So I'll take a step back, Steve, if you want to crack on, and I'll jump in and rip the piss out of you at some point.
Okay, great. So let's start by if you introduce your character, because I'm useless with names, and you've gone for another crazy name, just like everyone else did, which is great. So yeah, what's your guy called, and tell us a little bit about him.
So the name of my character is Xiar Kitt, and well, it's coming from my nickname that I usually use online, and is a Goblin Logos,
Nice.
Ambermancer. A bit of background. Basically, the story of Xiar is that he was, of course, a Brobnar originally. It was the typical Goblin Brobnar with bombs and into mechanics and all these tricks. And then he got in contact with Raw Amber, and since then he started to discover this new way to manipulate things through Raw Amber. And because of that, let's say it moved away a bit of what was his previous, let's say, society in the House of Brobnar, and moved to Logos to study further and to have more advanced technology to help him study Amber and become Ambermancer. But because Ambermancer is something not really well seen, as far as I understood, it's something like that he's studying Amber basically, but he's not showing much in Logos that is actually actively using Amber for manipulation of material and immaterial stuff.
Okay, so with him then moving over to Logos, the Logos house are all about thinking that mortal flesh holds them back. So that's why you see a lot of Logos turn themselves into robots, into cyborgs. Does your character have any cybernetics, or is it
Is
still early days?
is still not transformed. Is using, of course, he has coming from Brobner. He has knowledge of mechanics and a bit of trying to work on the cybernetic part of Logos, but he never embraced the Logos as a house completely.
Okay. That's great. So what does then your character think about the Crucible? What is their thought of why we're on the Crucible? What does he find he wants to use the Crucible for?
It's to crush everything.
Yeah, well, basically, I there is no hidden message. Is basically a small Thanos. So he want to he see the Crucible as an opportunity, especially now that he get to know the Ember and how to manipulate the raw Ember. He sees it as an opportunity to gain power and to become like Thanos.
He's going to wipe out half the population of the Crucible.
Yeah, basically half the population of the Crucible and his GM.
It's like a gremlin Thanos.
It is kind of like a gremlin Thanos.
I'm on board already. I like it. So let's go through then your strengths of the character. What would you say?
So, as a strength, I define that he is a fierce person. He is a fierce people because coming from Brobna, he got this sense of being the first on the front line, trying to draw the attention of all the enemies on himself without caring too much about injuries or not. I mean, he doesn't care because it's kind of like stupid in a way because he goes carelessly towards the enemy without caring much about tactics or anything else.
So
So that's a strength, not a weakness.
It is actually a strength because if you think about it, it's a strength because he always put himself in the front, protecting the others. So in a way, even if he does it for different reasons.
So he's your very stereotypical
kind of like,
kick the door down and run in without thinking sort of person, is he?
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
It's going to be really easy to
we
kill
needed
you
one.
off first.
Yeah, we needed one. He's the one that's...
My aim was to get it killed off, and yeah, it's definitely got to get it there.
Yeah, Xiar's the one that pushes pull doors. Is that what it is?
It's like just put a bomb on the first door. I'm gonna slam it, and that's
Nice.
All right, cool. So then, obviously, this is the same question I've asked the other two, but what would bring your character away from Logos again, and therefore possibly with the rest of the party, maybe away from anyone else?
Well, yeah, I didn't mention the flow that he has, which is part of the character as well, which is a thirst for power. So he doesn't care about sacrifice himself, his own health, or other people, if this will give him more power. Yeah. And this is also the motivation why he moved away from the house. Like Logos tend to be kind of like preservative in the sense that they share knowledge, they technologically advance, but they don't want to kind of like exactly. So that's why he went to Logos, just to gain knowledge and to use their advanced instruments and knowledge, but then he doesn't care about Logos. He doesn't care about Brobner. He doesn't care about anyone.
Himself.
But at the same time, he needs other people in order to, advance with his plans.
When you said he had a
Okay,
thirst for
and that
power,
would-
is
yeah,
it
would work.
a thirst for physical power or just a thirst for power in general? Is he trying to make himself
In
more powerful?
general,
In general, okay.
in general.
I take over the world. I like it.
I think mine and your characters are going to
So-
fall out.
Yeah, someone already asked me if I have a second character ready.
We've got a backup plan. Don't worry about that for when I kill you off. So let's go through the goblin. Then we'll go through like what the Ambermancer gets, and I'll also use the opportunity for this video to actually go through how Amber works in Keyforge, because not everyone knows it. Obviously, I've read the book, so I do know how it all works, and it is probably different to how a lot of people assume it's going to work. So we'll go through all that. But to start with, then let's go through your goblin. We'll go through like the goblin stats. So you've got 1 in brawn, 2 in agility, 3 in intellect, 3 cunning, 2 willpower, and 1 presence. So obviously he's not very brawny, not much presence to start with, but they've got a lot of intellect and cunning, so they can manipulate situations, usually run away. So we'll see how that comes up. Then you get your starting skills. So as a goblin, you get to start with either mechanics or skullduggery. So which one did you go for?
I went for mechanics because it's based on intellect, which again is also skullduggery is based on cunning, but I don't think I will focus more on that.
Yeah.
Instead, mechanics also it fit more the logos part of the backstory.
It's pretty cool. As well, it fits in well with Ambermancy, because Amber can be used for anything. And if you're doing like mechanical work, you might want to then incorporate Amber into that to give it added bonuses. So obviously we'll cover that. But then the other skill that you get, so the starting talent that you get is more upset than injured. And that is once per session, when a goblin suffers wounds, you may spend a story point to convert any number of those wounds to half that number of strain. So a story point in this system is you all start with 1, and once per session, I could choose to give you 1. Let's say if there was a weird situation and you guys handled it in a really quirky way or a really clever way, I can say, right, I'm going to give your character a story point, and you can then spend that at any point to stop yourself from suffering any wounds. Instead, you just take on the chin. So you gain strain instead, which is means you're going to be worse in social encounters, but you're going to be better in a fight.
What's that skill called? More upset than injured?
Injured.
So
Yeah.
it's basically throwing a little temper tantrum.
Yeah. Sounds just like you, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then that leads on to our career. So you picked Ambermancer. What was your reason?
As I say, the idea of being able to manipulate Amber is something that fascinated me since I read all the possible careers. And also, I think that kind of like a match a goblin in the sense of a species. In fact, that image that we use for the character, I think it's from the book. I think
it is. Yeah, he's in the book.
Yeah, and so it was fitting perfectly. And then I created this kind of backstory around about logos because it's my favorite house. So I wanted to have it there.
Make it work in. You love drawing cards.
Yeah.
So, as an Ambermancer, you get the following skills as your career skills, which are Ambercraft, Brawl, Cool, Discipline, Knowledge of Amber, Perception, Resilience, and Survival. And you get to put a skill in any 4 of those. So, do you know which ones you put those in?
Yeah. So I went on a limb here because I don't know all of them. So maybe we can discuss if some changes. But I went with Ambercraft.
Yep.
Of course. I went with Discipline, which are both will-based. I went with Resilience.
Yep.
And this has a reason for a talent that I will later. And I went with Brawl.
Brawl. Okay.
Brawl. Yeah.
Craft, Brawl, Discipline, and Resilience. So the only thing there I think is Discipline, going by your character's flaw, he's probably not very disciplined. If he's just going to run into every battle, he's not going to know what he's doing.
Okay.
Whereas maybe knowledge of Amber might help you out, because if you're literally wanting to focus on studying Amber, and that's what you joined Logos for,
Yeah.
it would make more sense you having that knowledge. All that is if you're doing checks where it's like, how would Amber work in this situation, or where's a good place for me to find Amber, your character will know that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, then it makes more sense to have Amber as a knowledge.
Yeah. So we can change that over. So now if I go through what Ambercraft is, so to start with, you need to understand how Amber works in Keyforge. So there's two types of Amber. There's raw Amber, and then there's imprinted Amber. Imprinted Amber is useless for Ambercraft and Ambermancy. It's found everywhere. Like everywhere you look on the Crucible, Amber is used. So the currency is something called Ambits. I went through that before, and that is currency that has been imprinted. So Amber absorbs different like feelings and different situations. So if it's used as currency, it becomes currency, and it can no longer be used for anything else. So it gets imprinted with that, and therefore can't be used for anything else. So the really rare thing is getting completely raw Amber, because that's something that's being found. It's not being influenced by anyone. And like just an example of one thing that Amber's used for is the Dis house. So a Dis demon wants to always consume emotions. So what they use Amber to absorb the emotions, and they'll store it. That's why the Dis library, whatever it's called, library.
The Library of Damned.
I can't remember that one. They are little Amber shards. And they have all absorbed different souls. So once you get some raw Amber, you can, as a Ambercraft, you can create a effect. So you come up with an idea of what you want to use Amber for, and it's pretty much anything. It falls into three different types. You've got armor, weapon, and then utility. So it could be like you create a force field or a shield using it, or you create a grenade or fireworks or whatever is like the weapon, and then utility, it could be something that you whisper a word and it opens a lock. So you create a spell. So you could say, I've got this armor and it's been ambercrafted to now give me additional skills in this way, and it is like physical armor that you wear, and you get the soak and stuff like that. You could imbue a weapon with some amber, or you could be like, literally all I have to do is click my fingers and half the world will end.
Yep.
So what happens is,
and I've gone with a rogue, an elf rogue. Are we fucking kidding?
So literally anything is possible with Amber, right? So there is like a guide all the way through, and it starts off with you come up with the idea, and the starting cost is 1 Amber. So 1 piece of Amber can create this item. Then you discuss with me what you want to create, and I could say, right, you want to click your fingers and wipe out half the world. That's going to cost you an extra 5,000 Amber or something like that, and it will obviously increase the cost. Then you will say how much, what an effect it has, what range it has, what different traits it has, which we'll have a list of those that we'll go through. And each time you add something, it's going to add a cost to the Amber. Then at the end of that, once we've come up with the whole concept of what you want it to be, you then have to roll some dice, and the difficulty will go up and up and up depending on how much Amber you've had to spend, and the minimum it can be is hard, which is already hard to be able to pass it. So, and when you try it, you'll waste all of the Amber. So it could be you'll spend time building up the Amber, you'll try and create your effect, you'll screw it up the first time, then we'll try again later, or you might want an easier thing. You can reduce the difficulty by spending more Amber. So if it costs you 5 Amber to do the effect, you can say, I'm going to spend an additional 3 to reduce the difficulty, but it can only ever go down to hard. Obviously, we'll make it more story-like when you're actually doing it. When you come to decide I'm actually going to make my effect, we'll probably do a bit of a story around it of what you're doing, and you'll have to go gather the parts, because if you are making armor, the mission could be you've got to go out and get the armor, you've got to get the Amber, you've got to bring it all together, try it, fuck it up, fine. And we'll go through all that.
I think so.
Um,
With this, I think it's obviously going to sound like quite a long effect to do it. You know, when we get into the story, this is going to be there might be quite a lot of dialogue around this. I think we might need to find a way to streamline that down a little bit, especially if we've got
well,
a lot of people on the call and
yeah,
you say,
it can be
well,
one of
we're
these.
trying to do
Yeah,
this, and then it's going to cost this, then we're going to try and do this, and then it might get a bit.
it's one of those things we can do in the downtime. It's like at the end of the day, like you've gathered the material, so it could be like as part of what you're doing with the group, you raid a vault and you find loads and loads of amber. Great. You're going to be like, right, tonight I'm going to do some ambercraft, and then me and you.
That was going to be my question. Is there a time needed to be able to do it? Because I'm thinking if you could do spur of the moment stuff, like, oh, I'm going to use so much amber to make a grenade to throw at this enemy.
No, so so the idea there would be you would make your effect, which would be I can put my hand in the air and a grenade will appear.
Yeah.
Once you've made that effect, you can do it as many times as you want.
Right. Okay.
So you have to spend the time and get and actually come up with the whole effect. But then in the spur of the moment,
that makes
you can create that grenade.
That's better. So if we're saying during the downtime or at the end of the day or at the end of whatever, you're coming up with a concept of I can now make a grenade.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're in a situation. So the way I read it or I heard it was you're in the situation, you need a grenade, so that's when you come up with the concept. Good, because that'd be quite long-winded.
Yeah, because it's like it's like a spell as well. So it could be I say, and it will be from that point forward. Whenever you say fire, you're going to create fire, and that will be your effect.
Nice.
One thing to be aware of is whenever you do a check using that effect. So you will choose a skill that it goes on to. So you could say like discipline. That one works quite well for it because you have to concentrate to do something. You'll roll your dice. If you ever roll a critical fail, I can choose to use that fail to deplete the ability. So you'll have to spend all that amber again to be able to get it back again. You don't need to do the tests again. You just have to spend that much amber. So if you are literally trying to you're throwing fireballs for days and you've done it 10 times in a session, the chances are you're going to roll a critical fail and then you're going to lose it and no longer be able to use it. So it's knowing when to use it and when to take the risk because you're going to put a lot of time.
Also, from what I understood, raw amber is not so easy to find. So it's not something that every session up with something. It might be that at the end of a campaign, maybe by that time there will be one, maybe two.
Potentially, or you might get very lucky and something might come up.
Yeah, well,
but we'll see.
We'll just start a mining party. That's what we'll do. Forget what Steve's come up with us. We don't want to fight anyone. We'll just go mining. We'll go quarrying.
Exactly. And then just create a gauntlet.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, there is a few mines across the Crucible, but they've all pretty much dried up because no one knows how the amber appears, and once it appears, they start mining it. By the time they get to it, that amber's imprinted, and it's now imprinted as a rock. So no one gives a shit about it anymore because it's a rock. Sorry, Ollie. And then, so
how many times is
Stefano's
just going to pick Ollie up and go, Amber? No, you're not Amber. Amber! No.
My effect is to throw rocks very far.
Don't spoil things.
No spoilers. You have to tune in for the next episode to meet the pebble. I mean, so obviously we've gone through quite a lot about what amber is, but you'll learn more about it as you go along. As each of the other characters don't know much about amber themselves, you could be the one that whenever a situation comes up about amber, you'll know about it and I can give you that information. And then that will be a good way for everyone to actually learn more about the amber. So you then get the starting gear for being an ambermancer. So you either get to choose a brawl weapon, so that is like knuckle dusters or a fist weapon, or you can choose a two-handed melee weapon, so that's like a staff or something like that. What did you go with?
Here I wanted to have a bit of input, but I think I will go with the Reaper, the two-handed melee weapon, Reaper Sigil, or Savage. I don't know which one of the two actually.
Yeah, we'll go through what each of those does, because tell you what, I do not know off the top of my head. So let's see if we've got Reaper Sigil in the book.
It just sounded awesome.
Just a Reaper
It does,
sigil.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean,
Oh, what a Reaper sigil says is, "Oh, you lose, you're dead." He's not even made it to the
Piss, you
campaign.
lose the game.
You pick this, you're dead.
Reaper Sigil. Okay. Many demons feed on the energies of terror, and there is no greater fear than at the moment of death. Arcane Sigils allow some beings to harness this energy and grow stronger. If this weapon is used in a check that defeats or kills an enemy or minion group, add an advantage dice to combat checks made while using it for the remainder. This stacks with each enemy or minion group defeated or killed in this manner.
So
You literally absorb the souls.
you're just
of
taking
what
the
you kill.
souls. Okay. Oh my god. Jesus.
And Savage instead.
You really want to know?
I like already the Reaper Sigil, but just
So the Savage is the wielder's fury is channeled into their strikes when using these weapons. Attacks made without discipline may not always strike home, but they can be terrifyingly effective when they do.
yeah,
So-
okay, Reaper Sigil.
Yeah, definitely Reaper.
Yeah, I thought you might go for that. Well, you're going to have to come up with a story as to why you've got one, because that's a dis item.
Yeah.
But you might have, that can come up in one of the episodes. We might work out why you've actually got a Reaper Sigil.
Like a house
So-
mongrel.
You've the.
I just passed by and there was one
Just
by
lying
the
on the floor.
street lying on the floor.
I suppose this
Great.
Yeah.
does
Just
this
leave
go,
that there.
does this go down the route of you again not caring about hurting people and just doing whatever you can for power? So you're literally just you're picking up scrag
Yeah.
ends from everything you find, and because it's more powerful, you're not thinking about the repercussions of what a Reaper Sigil might do. So you just, I'll have that.
So
Yeah.
You don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So then we've got the durable clothing. So in this one, you've got bone weave or psychic. So do you want to know what those are?
Yeah.
So if we go through bone weave, so it's literally made out of bone, and it will provide you additional protection. So you weave bone into the fabric.
I mean,
Or
it's very
psychic.
Brobnar. It's very Brobnar.
Very proud now, especially if you're killing souls and
Yeah.
harvesting them.
Cannibal.
Sounds good.
Okay, and psychic means it will bolster your
Sorry again.
actually, psych.
Yeah,
it
you
bolsters
keep cutting
or
out, Steve.
strengthens your mental.
Your sound keeps cutting out.
Okay, what about now?
Yeah, it's fine now. Yeah.
Yeah, so it will strengthen.
No, you've gone again. Do you want to change?
At the
So there's
time that you say what it does.
yeah, so we know it strengthens something. If you go into your settings,
Strengthens.
in Discord, you can change the sensitivity of it. I think it might be losing the sensitivity, so it just cuts you out. Do you know what I mean? Go into settings,
Yeah.
go into voice and video, I think it is, and then you can increase the sensitivity.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. One sec. There we go.
I'm just going to leave
Okay,
this part
is
of
that
leave this part of the video in just for that poetic.
Yeah, just leave it in
Nah. Yeah, keep
So
going.
psychic doesn't do fuck all. So...
Yeah, if
that's...
you got to take bone, surely.
No, so
Anyway,
psychic, it strengthens your mental strength.
yeah, it fit bone with fit
Yeah.
with the Reaper Sigil and thirst for power. Yeah.
This has got to be the
It works.
first character, by the way, that if somebody's going to draw a character, this is the character. He's got
Yeah, it's
bone
pretty
armor.
cool.
He's got bone weave armor, a Reaper Sigil. That's ridiculous.
Okay, so next you get a loaf of Am bread. So
I
that
mean, there you
is
go. You
bread
can carry
made
carry a loaf of Am bread.
Yeah.
I've just been saying how cool this character is, and he's
A
got
piece of bread on one
mean,
hand and a
You're the
side,
only one that's
like
got
to
food.
a
Everyone
piece
else
of
is
bread.
starved.
A piece of
We lost Carl.
We've lost Carl.
unbelievable. Oh dear.
I mean,
Wait,
you'll be
wait,
laughing when
We're starving,
no
and he's
food.
got his Am bread. Oh dear.
So it is literally bread made out of amber. That's all that is.
It's
Oh, dear.
quite good.
They came up with that at 5:05 on a Friday afternoon, surely. That's it. Oh, that'll do it. It's amber made out. It's bread made out of amber.
Doesn't help you in any way with amber crafting because it's been
Oh.
been influenced.
But if
then
I
you get-
find a nice crafted beer from Amber,
Amber
You
craft
can
beer,
make.
yeah.
There is. It's called Amber.
No wonder they got rid of the RPG department. I'm bread and ambia. Oh, that was creative as my little toe.
No, it's actually called Ambrew. Sorry.
Oh,
Ambrew.
that's a little bit better. Oh,
Okay.
I've got tears. Brought tears to my eyes.
Right, and then you get a utility belt, which is a belt. So well done. Okay, and then you get 2 pieces of raw amber to start with. So obviously you could save that and work that towards actually making your first effect. But obviously we've already discussed there is some talents that will spend it, so we'll get into that next. But let's take this opportunity to see how much ambits you've got. So for this one, we need to roll a D100. Do you happen to have a D20 with you?
I don't have a D20 with me.
I do.
Looks like Carl's on
Okay.
board.
I can leave Carl
I'm good
roll
at this.
my
1.
five MV.
Right, what we got? We've got a big purple one. We've got a little green one. We've got...
A green one.
You want the green one?
The
Yeah,
green
that's
one.
a good shout. I like green. Oh, do you want that green one? Or that green one?
The dark one.
Yeah, good shout. Right.
I'm not Mars.
So we're going with... Oh, rolled off the table. Good start. A 2. Woohoo, baby! A 20. You're welcome.
Oh, okay.
A 3. A 6. Has it? Not frozen, are we?
I've frozen.
No. Are you counting? No.
Oh, you're back now.
Yeah, you're fine. Are you counting these? So I got a 2, a 20, a 3, a 6, and a 17. So
Okay.
20, 46, 49, is it?
49, 48, 49. I thought 48, but we'll go with 49. It's nice and average. We like
Well,
that.
I can't remember. 48, a 2, a 6.
17,
Yeah,
20.
48. Yeah, a 2, a 6.
48.
48.
48.
48. Okay, so that's how much amber you've got. What ambits you've got? Not amber. Can't be making stuff with that. So let's go on to then what you spent your experience on. So as a goblin, I believe you get 95 experience.
It's a bit loud.
95, correct.
Yep. And have you gone with the standard of spending it on your characteristics, or have you?
For 70 of it, yes. So I spent 70, boosting my willpower to 4.
Nice.
Because it's basically a main characteristic. And because of the talents I took later, that will be basically the main characteristic of everything.
Yep.
So that's 70 there. Then I spent... Sorry?
Oh, no, I'm swimming in dice. I've got dice everywhere. I just realised it was really loud putting them away. So I'll wait. I'll wait.
Then I spent... what is it? 10 points on Devourer.
Yeah!
On Devourer. Oh, you went for talents.
What does Devourer do, Steve?
What does Devourer do? So the book says it in a really nice way. So fuck that. What happens is, whenever you kill, like, if you knock a creature prone or knock out a creature during a fight, if you are able to eat it, you can eat it, and you'll eat it, and you'll heal half your health. Well, half of your Devourer rank wounds, and therefore.
I think the only thing that it limits to is you've got to be able to digest it, haven't you? So you can't kill a robot, and if that's not in keeping with your diet, you can't just eat a robot.
As far as I remember, goblins can eat elves.
Yeah, goblins can eat elves.
Goblins can't get close enough to elves.
Not waking them up in the middle of the night.
We're meant to be on the same team. Everybody's trying to kill each other. We haven't even started yet. We're all thinking about killing each other.
You're both trying to take over the world.
I'm not.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
No, I don't give a shit about the world. That's why I specifically asked about
Oh,
physical
Manipulating
power.
others to-
My guy cares about
Ah.
the power of
Manipulating others,
suggestion.
though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've got manipulation written all over you. That's it.
mm-mm.
I just can't pronounce your
And
name. That's
it's
the problem.
not over. So then I spent another 10 points in close combatant, which is talent that give me either 1 rank in brawl or 1 rank in melee.
Yep.
I was actually going to take brawl, but I wanted to have confirmation that I can go to rank 2 if I take brawl.
Yep. 2 would be the max that you can go to. So yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, because I have already 1 from my Embermancer, and then adding this basically will push me to rank 2.
Yep, that's fine. That's allowed.
Okay. And then the nice tier 2 talent, which doesn't cost me exp because it costs me Ember, which is telekinesis.
Nice.
Let me get telekinesis out for you.
I'll fill this gap while you're looking. I'm guessing it's you can throw stuff with your mind.
Yeah, you
No.
can. You do have to spend the experience on it, but I think you were getting it wrong on the others anyway. So you had
I have it.
you had enough to spend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I took actually I think it were the
Yeah, you were
talent.
saying 10 for the talent. So
Yeah,
that's
exactly. It were 5 for
yeah,
those
and then
10
telekinesis
for
will
the.
be 10. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that you do have enough. So what that costs, it's because it's tier 2, it costs you 10 experience. But then it also costs you 2 amber. So your character starts with a 2 amber. So you're going to be using those up straight away.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is essentially you can move shit with your mind, like Carl said. You obviously can't have much precision with it, so you couldn't be like, I'm going to use this key to open a door, or I'm going to use this weapon to fight someone. But literally, if you want to swing something across the room or move something like gently, that's fine. But obviously, you can't have full control over it. I don't know whether or not, because it's a ranked skill, it gets better and better. Maybe the higher rank will actually give you a bit more control. And again, I don't know if you saw on there, but it says about if you get a critical fail on it, I can use that to deplete it. So that will mean in order to use telekinesis anymore, you'll have to spend another 2 amber.
Yeah.
So don't roll any critical fails.
I know, but also it permits to use willpower instead of brawn as a stat.
Yes.
So that's why I pumped the willpower.
Oh, that makes sense.
So
Yes,
basically,
when you're doing telepathic moves, you're using willpower instead of brawn. If you're literally using your fists, you're going to use brawn.
yeah.
But if you wanted to throw something at someone telepathically, use willpower. So yeah, it's pretty cool that you've stacked willpower. It's like you've read what to do. I like it.
Yeah, and that basically leave me with 5 points, which I will keep because why not?
Yeah.
Later on, might come in hand. So yeah, I just need to change a bit of things on my character sheet.
Yep.
But
Yeah, I think that pretty much rounds up your character. So in terms of like the image of your character, you're saying obviously goblins, we all know that they're going to be quite small, so that you've gone with 3'6".
Yeah.
Don't know how old he is.
Yeah, it's unknown.
Unknown. So even he doesn't know.
It is something that the manipulation of Amber actually gave him, like, it doesn't age as fast as he was aging before. So he's already like advanced age. When he left Brobnar, he was already like over 60. But then his body, once he started to manipulate Amber, he kind of like mutate in a way that he doesn't decelerate so fast the cells in the body. So that's why age is unknown.
Yeah, that makes sense. That works for him.
That makes sense, yeah.
Average build, got grey hair, eyes used to be red, now they're yellow. I guess that's the effect of Amber.
Yep.
Does he have any notable features?
Yes. Yeah, I know. You just see it. Just asking. Yes, he has 3 nipples.
importantly. Was that caused by Amber, or is that?
Yes,
Yeah?
it was a mutation that happened during manipulation of Amber. I just discovered that he has 3 functional nipples.
Oh, functional.
Functional nipples.
Functional.
It's the source of all his power. Samson's got his hair.
Exactly.
But no, he's got a third nipple. Is it a nipple?
Maybe it's
is,
the
it
nipple that will destroy the world.
is it a nipple or a
Yeah.
nubbin? Or is it a full-blown
Who
nipple?
knows?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I think that rounds up your character perfectly. It's ended on a high note of having a third nipple.
Cool.
I think that covers everything. Did you have any questions or anything before we went?
Mm,
No,
No,
you happy
not
with
at
character?
all.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just got
Cool.
to get-
Pass you back to Carl. then.
Yeah, that's great. We just got ready to play it. So 2 more left, and I know both characters are very much on their way. So we've just got to see Ollie's very, very interesting character and Rene's equal as interesting character if he goes the way of a potted plant, which I think Steve's vetoed. But
Yeah,
I
I
still
don't want
think-
to. Well, you can go plant if you want, but why would you want to be a plant?
Oh.
I don't get how they work.
That's brilliant. Well, we'd make it work. But yeah, again, as always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for another one very shortly. Thanks, Stefano. Cheers, Steve, and we'll see you soon.
Cheers. Bye.